As the year comes to a close, it's time for another Legend of Vox Machina Kickstarter update. Hi, I'm Sam Riegel, and a lot of you have been reaching out with questions like, how's production coming on the series? When is it going to be released? Why are you so unnervingly handsome? And while I can't reveal all of those answers, I can tell you that creating a top-tier animated series like this is no easy feat. And though it might seem like it's taking forever, that's only because so much care goes into every step. So, today, I thought I'd walk you guys through the entire animation process from start to finish on The Legend of Vox Machina. Let's do it. Click. Hi! It looks like you're making an animated series. Well, then you might need some words. If you watched Campaign 1 of Critical Role, you basically witnessed our first writer's room, where the characters and story were first introduced and developed. Since then, we assembled a super talented group of real writers to hash out the storyline for Season 1 and rework it for television. They generate things called beat sheets, which become outlines, which become drafts of scripts, which are then revised during table reads, where the cast gets together and reads the scripts out loud. It is super fun. Visual development is next, the imagination part of the process. This is where the supervising director, art director, and character designer start fleshing out the look and feel of the show. Details like color palettes, character concepts, cityscapes, landscapes, all kinds of options and designs get drawn up. The best ones stick around, and the weird ones go into this folder on my desktop that we're not gonna touch it. Now, next up, we don't get to voice all of the roles on the show, even though I totally could. So our casting director launches the casting process, reaching out to voice actors and even some fancy pants screen actors to audition for the characters Vox Machina meets along the way. Villains, shopkeepers, monsters, even animals. It's a very complicated undertaking that would be way easier if they just let me voice all the roles. Hello. Then it's time to record, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors, we voice act. But because of COVID times, we can't go into a fancy studio to record, so instead, the cast crams themselves into their sweaty home recording booths, which are essentially closets, where we scream for hours into a silent, foam-covered abyss. It's very therapeutic. It's also where I get to record songs for Scanlan. Like this little ditty I've been working on right here. 2, 3, 4. And Scanlan was his name! Oh boy! Thank you. Thank you. Once audio recording is done, our editor cuts together something called a radio play. We pick the best takes and string them together so it sounds like the cast is all together in the same room, not alone in dank booths that are so quiet you can hear your teeth grow. With scripts, visual development, and recording underway, it is time for the design phase, which is more like 3 phases in one. There's character design, there's background design, and there's prop design. Character design is where our concept art is refined for animation. Concept art can be incredibly detailed and kind of impractical to animate, so our character team simplifies the line work in the art, making it easier to animate over and over again. Background design is where the art director translates concepts into fully painted backgrounds, or sets. Every scene, every shot gets its own background. And then there's prop design. Anything a character holds or interacts with needs to be drawn by a prop designer. That dainty little teacup Percy just drank out of? Someone devoted hours, even days, to that teacup. It is an intricate process that frankly doesn't get enough respect. And that's the tea. Okay, now it starts getting real exciting because we're getting into storyboards. Ooh yeah. Board artists work with the director to create thumbs, or rudimentary sketches that illustrate the action and framing of shots. These start out really basic, blobs on a page. Then they get revised with more poses and detail that incorporate character acting, expressions, handsome faces, all kinds of marks and lines to show movement. In many ways, board artists are invisible writers and actors. They pitch ideas on how to best present action, improve pacing, and add visual gags. Now we've arrived at the animatic. This is where the storyboards and the radio play are lovingly intertwined by an animatic editor, who cuts in temporary music and temporary sound effects. This is the first time that we, as a group, get to watch the whole thing as like a show. and it's very exciting. Once we tighten the pacing, choose the camera moves, and cut anything we don't need, the animatic is called locked. This is the blueprint. This is the thing. It's sort of like your IKEA instructions that get sent out to our animation team to actually draw the dang thing. Which brings us finally to animation. We ship the animatic and design assets to our overseas studio where each episode is drawn out by hand. Seriously, by hand, which takes months because, like I just said, by hand. Half a year later, the animation is sent back to us and our cartoon is done. And I'm totally kidding because there's still like 5 more steps. So pour yourself a drink because we're going for it. Once we watch the animated episode, which we kind of do together as a cast, it's very exciting, we record something called ADR, which stands for, no one really knows what it stands for. Basically, we record a lot of grunts and efforts and fighting sounds. We replace lines of dialogue to better match the animation, or even
improve performances.
Huh? How did that? Who said? That was odd. Next up, our music composer watches the show and writes a soaring, epic background score that perfectly matches the tone and will make you cry. Unless, like me, you have no soul. After that, a VFX team adds atmosphere, smoke, embers, lighting, and cool-ass magical effects to polish all the visuals, make them pop. Then, all the music, effects, and dialogue are handed off to an audio mix house, where they are perfectly blended together in a delicious, mouth-watering audio ratatouille. Mwah. And then, after about a year, our episode reaches the final edit, where the mix and the animation are finally married together in holy animatrimony. And that, you wonderful critters, is why the animated series is taking so long. We know it's a long wait, but we promise you it will 100% be worth it. Okay, I want to wrap this whole thing up by thanking our incredible team of animators, artists, editors, coordinators, composers, and everyone involved in bringing the Legend of Vox Machina to life. We are grateful to the talent and skill that you've shared with us. I also want to thank our 88,887 backers. This has been a love letter to you, and we cannot wait to finally share this series with you. Until then, we love you all very much, and it's time for my 2 favorite things, wine and looking at cursed images. So let's just go to that folder that I said I would never open and click. Oh God. Oh, what is that? I can't even... Is that upside down? No, it's not.